Welcome to 2-Bit Encryption, the officially unofficial podcast for Mr. Robot on USA. I'm Jim.
I'm a.Ron.
And we're here today to talk about Season 4, Episode 5, Method Not Allowed. I did a whole bunch of reading and thinking and rewatching and stuff about this episode. I totally neglected to even consider the title of this episode. Did you?
Oh, yeah. So I think so these are HTTP error messages, and the methods in this case are ways that clients can request or transmit information. Like a lot of people, if you've done any HTML work at all, you might be familiar with the GET or POST. Like GET is, if you notice, you search on something for Amazon, there's like a question mark with a whole bunch of bullshit afterwards. Those are all variables that have values, and they're put on the query string, and I think that's a GET. Whereas POST is if you fill out a form, that information's in the form is sent in the HTTP request to the client or to the server. So what a 405 error means is like the client is attempting to communicate in a way that the server does not accept.
Yeah. And
I think this is a long way to say that this episode's not accepting verbal communication.
Okay.
That
sure.
they're not that method
sense.
of communication is not being allowed.
Yeah, plenty of texting allowed, plenty of glances.
Sure, you can post all day, you just can't get.
Makes a lot of sense. What do you think of this episode?
It's amusing because even though I was looking for it, did we mention this last week that I had heard a rumor that there was a stunt episode and a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be an all silent one or something like that. I was
spoiled. I didn't watch this until last night.
Yeah.
And so there were 2 days there, which spoiled me.
Right.
I knew that it was going to be a completely silent episode.
But I remember being like 15 minutes in the episode before I'm like, actually, the first time I noticed it is when Darlene was interacting with the guard. I'm like, this feels kind of wooden, and then I'm like, oh right, this is all. And I love it how the first line of the first line of dialogue is we don't need to talk, and the last line of dialogue is Vera saying, I think it's time we talked, which is I think people are all over the place, at least in feedback, about whether they thought this was fun or whether they thought this was too clever or whether they thought this was like drawing attention to itself and the art.
Of course,
take away from the story.
I mean, that's what Mr. Robot does, right? It draws attention to itself with its art.
But I thought it worked really, really well, and it might this security guard might go into Hall of Fame he's not too smart and good at his job, and he's not too dumb. He's just like the appropriate amount of on the ball a security guard can be. And a lot of the tension in the episode derives from whether this guy's going to figure it out or not.
Yeah,
a lot of elegant hacks, some good stuff with Dom. I love the Christmas music throughout. I thought that was great. Someone said this and I wasn't able to verify because I just didn't have time, that like these musical cues correspond with the musical cues in Die Hard and the same kind of structurally places. I know the Ode to Joy is for sure. How Die Hard, I think that's what's playing when he pulls into Nakatomi Plaza for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, I thought that was like a Run DMC Christmas song.
I couldn't tell you. It's been a while.
But anyway, if that's true, that's even cooler because the fact that I thought that was also amusing. The fact that the guards are watching Die Hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a guy sneaking around in a building doing shit while they've got a guy sneaking around their building doing shit. Like,
this is a medium rise heist instead of a high rise heist, but still, yeah, I thought that worked pretty well, and I thought the episode worked surprisingly well. It's not as impressive, I think, as the Oner last season.
No, I don't think so.
Because that's just much more difficult to pull off, and it doesn't take away from the show. It just adds, if it's pulled off correctly, just adds so much fucking tension.
And you don't have to stretch as much. I thought there was a lot of stretching to get to the no dialogue this episode.
See, I think
it was a good idea. It worked. It worked in principle, but there were moments where I was like, "What the fuck?" Like Dom's mom not saying a damn word. Before, she was a fucking fountain of speech. You couldn't get her to shut up, and now suddenly she's staring at a TV screen. The kids are in the living room saying nothing as they play.
I thought that worked actually well in context, and I'll defend it. But I thought that the two parts that I thought were weird is Darlene interacting with the guard, and then also
The police are not shouting at Elliot to stop.
Well, that's the other
Like,
is when the
there's-
guard and when him is like face to face across that door, that guard's not being like, open the fucking door.
Yeah,
Or
and there are a million scenes like that. They had to stretch to get this to work, and I'm not saying it makes it bad because I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. But they clearly stretched where they didn't have to do that with the one shot.
right.
Episode.
No, it compromises storytelling a little bit. Is it worth it to get the smug satisfaction of pulling off an episode with just 2 intentional lines of dialogue? I mean, that's just
I say yes. I thought it worked more than it didn't.
Yeah, it worked more than it didn't, but on the other hand, it's purely a stunt.
Also,
that doesn't serve the narrative at all. So
it's true. Yeah.
I guess I'm on the page of like, I guess it's cool that you did it, but like it wasn't unnecessary. I'm not super impressed, and because I thought about it a lot because like I love BoJack Horseman, but my absolute worst all time least favorite episode is the silent episode of BoJack. Because there's a show that's mostly about his crackling dialogue, and it's just this like thought piece of BoJack visiting a fish world. So he's got to wear a helmet and he can't talk to anybody. I'm like, it seems like it's a way for the writers to take the day off and just let the animators do their job. But
yeah,
and I kind of felt the same way. It's like, not that the dialogue is the best part of Mr. Robot, but Mr. Robot's not able to talk to us. Elliot's not able to talk to us.
Yeah,
Nobody's
Mr.
able to
Robot
talk to us.
completely absent except for the van burning in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, thank God for texting.
Yeah,
like you couldn't. I think it's absolutely. You could not make this episode 15 years ago.
Pagers. You just have like 16 characters scrolling across a page.
Just what were the codes? Like they're if you had codes like 911.
Yeah, you'd have to have like notepads, and it'd be bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hard part about making an episode like this, in my mind, is finding believable ways for characters not to need to talk, and not just to not need to talk, but talking would be out of place in that scenario.
And there's a lot of places where, first of all, like Darlene and Elliot are uniquely buyable as people that just would spend the whole day not talking. And it also has a little bit of emotional tension there too, because we know that Darlene wants to talk.
Yeah,
she's been wanting to talk to her brother like all fucking season long, but especially in the last 24 hours, and her pulling up and saying, pulling him up from the burning murder wagon and saying we don't need to talk is her showing love to him.
Yeah.
And saying
and him returning it later in the episode too.
Yeah,
she comes and picks him up for the second time,
which is a nice way to bookend that too emotionally. So it works more than it doesn't, and this show is kind of uniquely qualified to do something like this. And
let's not forget, this is in an episode with maybe the most epic hack of the entire series. I mean, aside from maybe the Steel Mountain stuff.
Oh, because I say but you're right. In the payload or the scope.
Yeah, this whole episode is one big hack. Well, aside from the 20 minutes of marathon that Elliot does. But yeah, the whole episode, it's the epic hack scene that I felt we have been missing in season 4 as we come to the conclusion. And it makes me wonder, like, what do they have left in the gas tank? The hacking gas tank?
There's gotta be, because like that's the other thing is like 5 episodes in with 8 more to go. I am kind of to feel the same way. Like this hack can't be the be all. It literally can't steal all of White Rose's money, or it can't be fatal to her Congo plot. Or now what?
Or where do we go for the next 8 weeks?
Yeah. So I'm really curious how they're gonna structure and pull off the rest of the season.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Quick before we get into the episode proper. Wellick, no body.
No body.
No confirmation of death.
It's true.
Still alive?
We got that last episode.
Still alive?
No.
I mean, we didn't see it.
Didn't
see it. Everyone's died in the show, has died very spectacularly and bloodily. Wellick's going to be the weirdo. Wellick is going to be the lone exception.
Could be. I'm clinging to my theory on that.
Yeah, I think just to be clear, I think you're right too. It's just I noted with grim amusement that literally, because I remember people were like kind of in denial that Joanna was dead, and then literally there's that scene in the morgue of like the medical examiner drilling into her skull and it's like, nah, she's dead, and then like
it's a fake body.
You get people getting hacked to pieces and people getting their brains blown out, and Wellick just stumbles towards blue screen of death and keels over.
A metaphor of death. That's what I think happened.
All right.
I gotta say also, it's too bad they're naming with the like 400 status codes, the HTTP status codes, because runtime error would be a perfect episode title.
Man, yeah. Also, whoever is the stunt double of I just
Rami
blanked on.
Malek.
Yes, thank you. The stunt double for Rami Malek or himself really earned their paycheck.
Yeah.
Holy shit. There was a lot of tough physical stunts they had to do.
Did you see the video of the person in New York trying to stop Elliot, like the Good Samaritan jumping out in front of Elliot because he saw the police chasing him?
Oh, no, that was a real thing?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Did he fall? Did he trip him? Succeed?
No. He just blocked him.
I mean, what if someone just kind of like puts a foot out and like, where's my hero of the city? It's like, no, you actually.
Like, we're filming it. Like, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Busted up Mr. Malek's face.
That's what happens when you film in New York City.
Yeah, it's gotta be
one
tough.
out of every million people there is a Good Samaritan.
It's gotta be, and that's all in a city of what 20 million? That's all you need.
Okay, let's get into the recap here. We start off. It's Christmas Day. We see Elliot and Mr. Robot burn the van, which leads Darlene to their location, and she picks them up. And we get the first line of the episode, which is, "It's cool, dude. We don't have to talk." There's this traffic cam that probably picked up Elliot, obviously. Then we go over to.
Wait, can we stop? I got some things to say. Believe it or not.
You do? Okay, this is not. There's not much here.
Wellick's phone, 12:25 Thursday. Just want to point out for the millionth time that this was actually in the real world of Friday. So the one-off, the one-off conspiracy continues. Still don't know what it means. I just noted it.
Okay. Krista.
I thought that the other thing is like, do you think that? I thought it was even wordlessly the like kind of Darlene's like panic when she pulls up to the van because she thinks that's her brother's burning inside there, right?
Probably.
And then he just kind of like knocks and on the other side of the door. I thought that how that was all staged is really well done.
All right, we move on to Krista texting with her boyfriend about meeting her mother for the first time. He's pretty nervous, and she decides, let's make it Christmas for two instead. And they seem to enjoy that plan.
He's a big emoji guy too.
Yeah, very big. Well, not as big as Janice.
Can I ask you this? Because I don't understand. I don't know.
He uses like 5 or 6 emojis.
Yeah, he like speaks in like full sentences.
Janice is doing a thumbs up.
What does the two hands stretched out mean? Is that like a hallelujah? Is that like supposed to be clapping? What is the two hands out emoji?
I don't know.
Is it like a praise? Yeah, okay, so it's like a hallelujah thing, or is it like a high five?
Double high five?
Yeah, high 10?
I doubt it. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, there's some interesting stuff in this scene, which I don't know if this had been floating around or if people just discovered that this episode and put the pieces together or what, but apparently they're doing a 12 Days of Christmas thing here, where every episode has an item from the 12 Days of Christmas that corresponds to the episode number. So in the first episode, there's the dinner scene with Dom and her mom and Janice, and there's a partridge and a pear tree picture behind them. Episode 2 has White Rose's Christmas tree decoration scene where 2 turtle doves can be seen behind in the background.
Just like in Home Alone 2.
Yes, except they weren't hanging on the tree. They were in the background.
Shit.
Episode 3 had Varga stuffing 3 chickens full of drugs.
So what is that?
For
3
the
French hens?
French hens,
Okay.
yeah. Episode 4 had, in the wood scene, the howl of death, as we called it, as Sam Esmail called it, was heard 4 times, which is 4 calling birds.
Those are birds?
Debatable.
Bullshit.
Yeah, but in this scene, Krista...
Oh! That's
that a bird?
That's the death howl for this theory. Just then, you hear it? You hear it? It's stalking it relentlessly.
It sounded like a parrot to me.
It's got parrot doing a mean wolf impersonation.
And in this episode, Krista, in this scene when she's texting, can be seen wearing 5 golden rings on her finger.
Where's the maids of milking coming in?
Very good question.
Let alone the Lord's leaping. I mean,
and what are they going to do for the 13th episode? Are they just going to bring them all back?
That's
every single one in one episode.
I don't know.
I mean, we're already we're already on Christmas Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be weird if they kept this up after we get past Christmas Day.
Well, so apparently the 12 days of Christmas, Christmas used to be this kind of communal feast that began on Christmas.
Oh, that began
and
on
lasted
Well, they
for
did it
12
wrong
full
either way you
days.
look at it.
Yeah,
then.
you're right. You're right. Although, wait a second. Did this start on Christmas Eve, the season? No, the season didn't, but the main narrative, yeah, there's no way to make that work.
Yeah. But
Again, I heard the death howl. This theory's on its last legs.
Yeah. All right, we go back to Elliot's apartment. He is dealing with the previous night's activities, both physically and emotionally, and then he researches a hack on virtual reality. This episode, or this scene is weird. And a lot of people have pointed this out, and I have not found a satisfactory explanation for why Elliot's hands are so busted up in this scene, and why he is so
Didn't he touch Wellick after he got shut? I thought he touched. I thought the blood was from the hands.
But you can see all the scenes before this. Elliot's hands are fine. It's absolutely true. I went back and I looked at it.
Blood. Do you think they're busted up?
No, they're scraped up, and they're scraped up in the identical places where they show them at the end of the episode too. And I don't know if they're playing with time here and showing us like a glimpse after the fact. And also before the fact, but that doesn't make sense because why would he be washing his hands in this sink when Darlene comes out?
I thought
she's got the wig on, and why would she have the wig on if it wasn't before the hack?
I thought he's metaphorically and actually washing the blood off of his hands.
Yeah, I mean he's clearly dealing with the death of Tyrell and the experience he's just had.
Yeah,
but
and I love how he's like kind of like starting to crumble, but like his sister walks out of the bathroom and he like instantly springs up because that's why they got a good thing not talking going.
Yeah,
he's weeping in the corner. There's no way Darlene lets him get away with that.
For sure. And then Dom gets a text from Janice, who says she has to deal with the Dark Army's burnt-out van and gather as much intel as possible.
Also, Dom, goddamn cookie faker. She's passing those store-bought cookies off in her little shitty Tupperware containers as Dom made.
Yeah, why?
Shame on you, Dom.
Is there just that much pressure from her mom?
I don't know. She's got to have cookie and gravy.
I thought she had eaten 2 boxes of cookies. I thought she was binge eating cookies when I first saw this scene.
No, she's being a cookie faker.
Yeah. All right, we go over to Philip getting a text from Elliot that says Tyrell isn't coming to the Deus meeting tonight because he's dead, people. He's dead. The waiter arrives with a message saying someone is outside E-Corp waiting for him. I knew something wasn't quite right when this very aggressive waiter slammed this bill on the table. I thought something was gone bad, like his cards had been canceled because he's no longer the E-Corp CEO, and now he's gonna have to beg on the streets for money. None of that happened.
He's looking wistfully at that family though, thinking, boy, if he'd played some cards differently. Yeah,
he's questioning his entire life in this episode because when he gets to that E-Corp building, he looks at the building wistfully, right?
Yeah. You got nothing but either eternal darkness or hell staring you down the barrel at you right now, old man. So
it's true. Or salvation through White Rose's machine.
Oh, I wonder if we'll be visited by 3 ghosts.
Angela. And Angela's mom and Elliot's dad.
Angela and Angela. So because I was thinking, like, who are the 3 people that have died? Because you could have like, well, I mean, there's so many people that have died.
Yeah.
Well, who'd be the 3 ghosts of?
Who's he been most responsible for?
Yeah.
I think it's the white whatever project.
What was his neighbor's? Carla?
Shayla.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, what if they're like notable deaths from the season? Like you had you voted like the Christmas Pass is Shayla, and then
Tyrell's the last one. So
Tyrell's the ghost of the future. Yeah, he. I guess Joanna would probably be the big death from season 2. No, I mean there was almost like all of F Society got liquidated in that season. Mowgli.
Yeah.
Mobley, Mobley, as you like to call him.
All right, we move on to the heist on virtual reality, realty. It begins. Darlene distracts the security guard, which allows Elliot to get inside, and he goes over to the security room, creates an identity on the computer, which allows the guard to let her in. Thinks that she belongs there and makes her a card.
She also did that sweet make him touch the cell phone so she can get the print off of him. Also, I noticed that the name of the security company is Parmenides. who is a Greek philosopher from 500 BC who essentially founded the discipline of metaphysics and ontology, which is the disciplines that strive to answer basic questions about being, existence, and the nature of reality. So, oh boy.
Dude. After last week, I just couldn't. I went too deep on the friggin' Camus stuff last week, and I could not. Whenever it starts to say, you know, if it is, it is not, is
No,
what it is not, and I'm are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I started going down and because I guess he's really known by his reputation, and there's like half of a poem he wrote.
Yeah.
Back when philosophy could be done with poetry. And
Right.
I started the same thing. And
when a philosopher was a guy who wrote a thing.
Yeah. A guy who had enough, for the first time in human history, had enough leisure to just kind of think about things.
Right.
You know, didn't have to worry about putting food on the table, didn't have to worry about shelter. You could just think. Just think for a bit. What the fuck? What do am I real? How about these assholes walking around? Are they real too? Like, I don't know.
He has a whole thing on virtual reality. Should check it out.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. Goes into simulation theory, all kinds of stuff.
Interesting.
It's a long poem.
Well, then that you should see the half it's missing.
And of course, Darlene's using Dolores Hayes as her alias here.
Yeah.
Which I feel like at some point you should probably switch it up.
Yeah, well,
Like,
plus
just,
what
all these
happens...
hacks, this is her calling card at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, like... Lolita's not the world's most obscure reference either. Like, when do you get someone that's like, I mean, just from an alias, I doubt it would be something that's like Dolores Hayes, huh? Like, you're not going to be like, that's a fake name, but you're certainly going to fucking remember it.
You will,
and you're going to remember the face that goes with it. You know, so like Michael Bolton, another terrible alias for someone to remember you. So I don't know. I feel the same. That Sam, what's
Sepiol?
Sepiol, that's the way to go. You see that name, you can barely pronounce it. You just keep moving on with your life.
It's got a 0 in it.
Yeah.
Secure hacking name there. It seems to me that Sam Esmail has an opinion on whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I think he's on the record saying that it most certainly is.
Is he?
Yeah, I think someone cited an interview with him where he said that. I think last year.
Well,
but I honestly have zero patience for people that doesn't consider it a Christmas movie. Like, literally, what part? I mean, it's not a heartwarming Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie about Santa Claus, but it has Christmas music. It takes place on Christmas. People watch it during Christmas.
It begins with a Christmas party.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sam knows what's up.
Yeah.
Here's the other weird thing that I noticed about this building, which must mean this is a pretty fucking exclusive place, is that this gym requires a badge to get into, a building badge.
Right.
I'm sure that exists, especially in New York, for some high-end gyms and stuff.
Maybe this is a weird fucked up deal like us. Like we require, like, it's actually no joke an ordeal to get into our building.
Yeah, but if we ran like a smoothie shop, that would be
we're running a fucking podcast
it would
studio
be fucking weird.
Out of a fucking weird German Catholic orphanage school.
But my point being, no one ever comes in here.
True.
If this was a business that people patronized on the regular, like, you don't want everybody getting a badge to the
in
building.
New York. You just want people, you don't want people like
That's
creeps wandering in and out of the thing, and
this is like the gym that fucking
I got a bouncer.
I don't know. Norm Macdonald works out in.
It is. It's his favorite one.
I was trying to think of the guy's name who runs SNL.
Lorne Michaels.
Yes.
Yeah.
He works out here.
Old Lorne Parmenides Michaels.
Right. Okay, we go to the next phase of the hack. Elliot updates the firmware on the security systems, taking it out of commission for 40 minutes. And Darlene and Elliot head upstairs to the makerspace where they create a usable copy of the guard's fingerprint. How did you feel about the 3D printing scene?
I mean...
Do you think that this was a reasonable thing that could happen in 40 minutes or less?
Ooh. I never considered it from a 3D printing, because you're right. That 3D printing is slow as shit.
It's a pretty small piece.
And this is not like somebody with MakerBot 3.0 hooked up their computer. This is like a like a maker studio like set up expressly for this, so maybe it can do it on the double.
Yeah, maybe they have pretty fast printers.
Yeah,
and I know it does take a while. It takes like a half an hour because once they get up to the server room,
they
have
have
like 6 minutes left.
Yeah, they got hardly any time. So.
Yeah, so I thought it was just believable. Actually, I thought everything they were doing here, with the exception of maybe the orientation of the print, was pretty spot on.
Because I kept on thinking, like, what the fuck are they doing? What the fuck? And then they're like, oh, they're making a 3D printout, and like, oh, it's actually just a mold. And
yeah, for the silly putty that they're using his fingers. Nice.
Plus, I watched the Mythbusters do the same thing, albeit like 10 years ago, and maybe not this high security, but they literally just took a piece of Scotch tape and like sprinkled some graphite dust over it, and that worked too. So it's like, maybe you don't have to do. Also, the only thing that kind of strained my credibility is that it's a little bit just so that they have a 3D maker studio in the building where they need to make a 3D thumbprint. But on the other hand, that's part of the hack, right? Like they researched the building, they saw what they had available, and they came up with a custom hack based on. So yeah, that even then is like, I was starting to bitch about it watching it. I'm like, well, this is fucking Elliot and Darlene. They're pretty good at this. They did their homework.
Yeah, if the building didn't have a 3D...
That was her job, right? She staked it out. She scoped out the security. She did the research on it, so they know what they have there.
And they do a great job with this hack. They do everything in this hack. They've got... I don't know that I've ever seen a 3D printing hack in action before on television, but they do that. They do social engineering. They do creating user accounts and just straight up hacking into computer systems. They do badge creation, like everything you
take
can
down
think
the automated power systems,
camera systems, everything. It's really involved, and I loved it.
Also, I think this firmware upgrade, you're supposed to understand, is completely bullshit. It's just like a little program that he installs that takes cameras down and puts on a 40-minute timer.
But it's it's passable. You look at it and you go, "Oh fuck, they're updated." Well, what idiot?
But why 40 minutes? Why not 45? Why not 50? Why not an hour? Because I know that there's some people that saw the evidence that there's a clock on this as White Rose being onto them or setting them up or entrapping them or something like that. I don't see any evidence of that.
Seems like self-imposed clock.
Right. But because then people are like, well, because people raise the question, well, the reason there's a timer in here is because it adds tension. It has nothing to do with White Rose. And the people are like, well, if you have a timer, why don't you set it for 24 hours? And I'm like, because I think there's a tension there of like, what would a security guard see and be like, oh, fuck, it's a fucking firmware update. What are you going to do? It's Christmas Day versus shit. This is going to be down all day. I need to call somebody. And like 40 minutes is well within that time. Is an hour more? I don't know. But 40, it was a weird just kind of time to pick.
Yeah, I'm with you. Especially when this is, if you think this is a self-imposed timer. The other option here, I suppose, is that that's just how long
it takes. Exactly 40 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is like, I don't know about if I was a master hacker like Elliot, I would be familiar with the idea that these timers, like elapsed time to install, are fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's either going to be way under or way over. It's never going to be just like right on 40. So that would be the really funny thing if he's still got like 5 minutes left and the cameras come on.
Yeah.
Or like he's sweating bullets about to take the power out and the cameras are still off. You know that. But yeah, because I thought it was just he wrote a little program that has a 40-minute timer to just kind of looked the part.
Yeah. All right, we go to Philip showing up outside E Corp and he finds another message with the trombone player, which is about a dry cleaner. Which I thought he was gonna have to go to a dry cleaner to pick up the next hint, but I guess he did.
They just didn't
but he
show
brought it home before he looked at it.
That's the other thing. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of. That's
what if the message said, "Stay here for the next 10 minutes"?
Exactly. Wait here for a Uber to pick you up or something. Yeah, I had the same questions.
Does Philip seem like a guy who picks up his own dry cleaning though? You think the dry cleaning was already waiting for him at his house?
I don't think this is his dry cleaning. I think this is all set up by White Rose.
Somebody else's dry cleaning?
Well, what do you think?
They're gonna be pissed off.
He gave some random black dude playing a trumpet on his fucking dry cleaning ticket? No,
are all these people
are
part
all
of Deus?
They're all White. Yeah, they're all White Rose contacts, and they have the most elaborate fucking calendar system in the world. You have to go to 3 different dead drops that are completely unconnected, and I did like the scene of him approaching the Big E, almost like prayerful or penitent, like he kind of felt like he's going to hit his knees and start confessing or some shit.
Yeah.
But But yeah, it's good. Like, this is his sanctum of power, and he's still the pawn of White Rose.
And then we go out to the van site where Dom looks around and then just leaves. But as she's driving, she spots the traffic camera.
And her sharp ears pick up a very notable ringtone the deputy's got.
That's true.
All about
she
that
does
bass.
use that later.
Meghan Trainor, So Hot, back in 2016? 15? 2015.
Meghan Trainor?
Yeah. Right? Isn't that all about the bass girl? Pretty sure.
I don't know. Okay, we
My
go over
girl
to...
pop knowledge superior to yours, Jim.
That is 100% true. Factual. Elliot and Darlene continue their hack. They gain access to virtual realty on the 9th floor, where they create a system administrator card for Darlene's alter ego. Pretty straightforward stuff there. We're not to the interesting part yet. Then at the local police station, Dom puts an officer's phone in the donut box to distract her and attaches a monitoring device to her computer. Then walks to her car, where she sends a message to Janice saying the DA should have access to the police network now and to look out for red light camera reports. Also, she finds out that Deegan McGuire, who is this, I think, Irish
Human trafficker,
has been going around like getting people out of jail or something. I don't know what he's been doing.
I think he's just out. They released him.
Yeah. Now they released him. I forget what he was doing before, though. There was some reason
I thought
they
he was
brought him
smuggling
in.
people in and out of countries.
Okay.
Which I think is the point. Like, the reason Dom can't strike back is because she's afraid of her family. Is she going to make a deal with this guy to kind of like get her mom out of the country, or
could be?
Because I was thinking like, but I don't think that's enough, because like when she was like kind of looking around all of her nieces and nephews and her mom, presumably this big family they've got, like, are you going to human traffic them all to Cambodia or some shit? Like, it's not like she's just got the one mom, and if she smuggles herself out of the country, then White Rose has paced her whole family. So it's like, that it feels like that's where they're going somehow, like some kind of safe passage guarantee thing. But I don't see quite how it's all going to fit together.
It'd be ironic given that she works for the FBI, and the FBI probably has much better methods of hiding people and getting them out of danger, but like she wouldn't go to them.
Well,
instead she would go to a criminal. That would be weird.
Yeah, like the FBI can't protect you from White Rose, but this random Irish thug can.
Yeah. What kind of resources does this guy have?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying it. Janice is weird. She stabs a dog. Really stabs a dog.
It's that dog she got dumped on her desk like a couple episodes ago. I mean, Janice is really weird.
Okay.
She's really
no
weird.
Argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend her weirdness.
Did we know that Dom's full name is Dominic? Mm-hmm. Okay. I wasn't sure if we knew that. I always just think of her as Dom. So then we go over to Krista shopping for the perfect holiday snack and settles on a bag of rolls and a pair of J and Bay stockings. Someone's watching her.
Yeah, you're buying them on Christmas Day. I guess this is more of a next year thing, or I guess it's for her and her boyfriend. Minute. Yeah, it's just kind of like funny. Like, look at her.
Yeah, like we were going to go to the parents' house, but why did she do that?
Folks.
Why did she make it a Christmas for two?
So it's the first time that's a high pressure. Like, the first time you meet the parents is also Christmas fucking Day. I think it's shitty that she bails on her parents like last minute.
Yeah.
Because her parents probably getting old. How many more Christmases they got, Krista? You got the rest of your life to fuck this dude in front of the fireplace or whatever. Like your parent, what if your mom dies tomorrow? What if she chokes on a chestnut tonight and you missed giving her last Christmas? Come on. Also, do people just handle baguettes of bread?
They did.
Just kind of grab them barehanded.
Bad people do.
Like
Bad
sneeze
people.
on it and feel, oh, that's too crusty. Jesus Christ, Krista. Like, if Vera saw that, you wouldn't have made it out this episode alive.
I think you're probably right. I think that Krista looked around her house, saw that she hadn't done a damn thing in it for Christmas.
Right.
And said, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're not even a proper couple yet. And I'm trying to invite him over for this holiday meal with my family. Let's just have a Christmas together before we do all that shit. That's what I thought. Because she looks around at her dining room and there's... I don't recall anything Christmassy in there. It's very sterile.
It's like her whole house is just set to beige.
Yeah.
There's nothing Christmassy at all.
Maybe a small Christmas tree in the entryway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not very Christmassy looking.
But yeah, when they look at the kitchen, it's just like not ready for any kind of festivities.
Yeah.
There's also this youngster in a red coat, kind of mad dogging her. Turns out it's going to be one of Vera's child soldiers.
Turns out it's a New York rapper, local New York rapper.
Is that really?
I don't know their name.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, if we wanted to, we could look it up. Or you, our faithful listener, could look it up for yourself.
See, I'm only expert in girl pop. I don't know.
True. I know more about rap.
I don't know about my New York rap, my East Coast rappers.
I know Beastie Boys, and I don't know this guy's name. I wonder if he'll do
a collab with Joey Badass.
Yeah, there we go.
Because since last season, I've become...
Oh, fuck. We haven't had a good show-based song since Balky Bartakamoose did the Balky rap.
I was tended to my flock of sheep. My mind was bent and couldn't get no sleep. I was dreaming of a world I knew. If I could get to would make my dreams come true.
We need a good Joey Badass, and whoever this person is.
Yeah, get Will Smith in there
Mr.
too.
Robot rap.
So he can do a Men in Black. Yeah, sure.
Men in Black hoodies. That's the band name. There we go.
Yeah, I like it. But yeah, no, since last season, I've become like a legit Joey Badass fan.
Nice.
Makes some good music.
Cool. So we're going into the bulk of the hack here. I'm not going to describe this entire hack because it would take a month. What I will say is that they go into the server room. The guards get alerted to their presence, and they have a little cat and mouse in the server room while they're trying to hack. The timer ends, and Elliot hacks in there and turns the lights off, so the cameras can't see them, even after they come back on. Unfortunately, on their way out, the cops show up, and Elliot has to basically sacrifice himself, or potentially sacrifice himself, to draw them off Darlene.
I do find it highly unlikely that these aren't in addition to visible light infrared cameras.
Yeah.
Like in any kind of sane security installation, they would have just cut to like night vision mode, and it would have been Elliot and Darlene with glowing eyes. Elliot's eyes especially, they're so huge. They would look like twin sons of Tatooine.
They would have blinded the camera.
It. Yeah.
It did them no good.
It whited out the IR sensors. It just looked like black.
I actually like this element of the hack, aside from the fact that, yes, they probably would have IR sensors, but like this is a thing. I don't know how many people know this, but like HVAC control and like lights and basically all the operation of a building, a facility, done from a remote location over a network. So my sister's
job is she from a little office in Indiana, she controls like damn near like all the Dick's Sporting Goods, all the Targets, all the Kohl's. Like
it's so weird to me. So what I think why people do this is because it's a cost normalization method. It's a way to say, okay, we're going to have exactly these costs for our power, for our heating, for our cooling.
It also
over
keeps
these
managers
months.
From doing things like, it's cold in here, turn it up to 76.
Exactly.
And,
like a franchisee going, I want it to be 85 degrees in this place. No, they want to keep a particular atmosphere for the customers. They want to control their cost on energy.
Plus, there's usually other bundles too, like service and like, if you go with this nationwide company, instead of like trying to find a local HVAC, they've got contracts with the big ones, and you get a deal on that, and sometimes you get a deal on the utilities. Like,
so I thought it was cool.
Fascinating. I get to hear about it all the time.
Yeah, and I bet most people don't know that. So it was. I feel like it's a good thing to explain, and kind of cool that they used it in here.
Sure.
What else do you want to talk about with this hack? There are so many things. Like I think the hack itself is not super sophisticated. Like a sysadmin knowing that the police had to show up here, knowing that the server room was compromised, would easily go in and find this account that they created, which I think is the account they're planning on using later to access the servers. Like, wouldn't you just go in and say, "Oh, this account was created today, fucking delete it"?
Well, are they? Because I'm not. That's my question. Is like, what did they gain? They inserted an account.
The sysadmin account.
But are we going to understand it? Like, did he do like a 5.9 deal? Like, did he encrypt all that information too? Like, with the access?
It's possible they just took some information with them. Yeah, so they won't need it. But like, the security protocol should say, if you have a breach like this, it's time to update everything. To restrict access heavily. Like this hack,
Not only that,
having
but
got caught shouldn't work.
Yeah, because it's also like all this shit will be logged and audited, and like you can just, I mean, maybe Elliot, they didn't show that, but maybe Elliot could wipe the logs as well. But like, yeah, if it'd be pretty trivial to see a new administrator account that's been added in the hour that you think that the hack took place.
Right.
But like I said, I don't fully understand what they did here. They did something to White Rose's Cyprus bank accounts, which we're supposed to understand is a major blow to her. But like if it turns out that he's just encrypted it, like he doesn't care about getting the money or doing anything with it, he just wanted to make sure White Rose doesn't have it, then
right.
I don't care. Like that's I completely believe that he could have pulled that off. If like 24 hours from now him and Darlene finally get it to a terminal and they're like, oh, now we can do that's yeah. I mean,
there's a possibility
all this.
that maybe that happens and it just doesn't fucking work. Maybe this hack doesn't work, right?
But
like
I mean,
next episode,
that's
status
sloppy from
code is going
Elliot's
to be called not
standpoint.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Which I could see being a number of things. It might be not acceptable that Tyrell doesn't show up to this meeting. It could be not acceptable that the credentials they give this server are not acceptable.
That Vera gets his mitts on his therapist.
Sure.
Lots of unacceptable things happening here.
But yeah, they might do more with this hack than we think they did, because they don't really show us the conclusion of it. They show them making an account, and then Darlene finishes up, and then they leave, and we don't really see what they're doing.
And I mentioned this like in the beginning, but I also really liked how they wrote this guard. You know, this guy's chilled out on a Christmas, but he's not stupid, but just like these things just kind of keep. This is funny. Let's call the cops.
A panel open, a handle up when it
I
shouldn't
did
be.
think it was uncharacteristically sloppy of Elliot to leave that panel open too.
Yeah. I wonder if he did. Because a lot of people say he closed it.
Then what the fuck happened? Did one of his
there's
alter
only one
egos pop it
elevator,
back
though.
open?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because there's only one elevator. That
Also,
wouldn't
wouldn't flipping the I would think that flipping the elevator to fire mode would probably trigger some sort of alarm too,
or at least the security up front would be notified.
Yeah, like what the hell, you know?
Probably
a building this automated and sophisticated.
Yeah. Here's a weird thing. So sometime during this chase that's about to ensue.
Oh, I also, if we're gonna move on, I also want to shout out that staircase shot.
Fuck yeah.
Kudos to location scouts for finding that, and they had to have painted that custom, right, just to get that effect with the white striping. Like plus it looks so fucking brand new. I don't know why anyone would paint a hallway like murder red, or like staircase like murder red either, but it was really fucking cool visually. I loved it. And
it's something that somebody else pointed out. S-Mail has done before. He actually did in Homecoming. Is it Homecoming?
I don't know. I only saw like the first 3
episodes. Homeworld? It's one of those.
Yeah, Homecoming.
Yeah. People have been writing in telling us what it is.
It's either Homeland, Homeworld, Home Run, Home Base, or Homestar Runner.
No, he did a similar shot in Homestar Runner.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's.com.
There is a chase during which at some point Elliot removes his gloves for some unknown reason. Like he starts off in his gloves, it cuts back over to Darlene like figuring out how she's going to get out of this building, and then when he comes back he has no gloves. Why would Elliot remove his gloves?
Because he's done wait, at what point did this happen?
So it's between when he runs out of the building and around the corner and up the street.
Well, once you're out the building you don't need your gloves anymore.
Why not? Why not?
Wait, you think these were like the gloves he was wearing are like
it's
latex?
Cold out there.
They're like latex gloves. They were like crime
they weren't
gloves.
Latex. No,
the gloves he was wearing when he's doing the hack.
They were thicker than latex. Yeah.
Huh. I thought they were just black latex, like murder
no,
gloves.
They look like actual gloves.
Okay, well,
I don't know why you would remove your gloves, but
I don't know why you fucking just go outside in New York City on Christmas Day with a fucking hoodie on either. Like this guy doesn't sense cold apparently.
That's
true. He's walking through the woods like, you know, ankle deep in snow. Like this guy just doesn't get cold. He doesn't process physical sensations the same way we do.
Could be onto something. He's a clone. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the chase. There's a chase all over New York. He goes through a skating rink. He goes off a couple of cliffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say he liked that first embankment toss so much he decided to double down for the finale. Like, damn.
He gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
Knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I saw a couple theories that that he switched personalities. I don't buy it.
And I don't know why it matters.
Right? Yeah, I just think that just people are like it's kind of like we were talking about last week about people not following the whole Elliot and Mr. Robot and how they can stand in different places, but they're still like one per. I just feel like that some people are just trying to, you're trying to really wiggle this puzzle box to and fro to get it to open. But yeah, I don't see any evidence of that. I think he just concussed himself. Now I don't know if that will play out the rest of the season. Like if he'll have post concussion syndrome to kind of struggle with, or if that. Blow to the head can like alter your personality. Is there going to be some
fourth?
Kind of, well,
oh, shit, there's a fourth.
Right? Maybe.
It's the security guard. He was never in any danger. The police chasing him are both alters.
I really liked. I really liked his running across the ice rink. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, a la Home Alone.
Yeah.
Which you can't not see when you know their snowman's name and all the Home Alone references.
Sure.
There's a sign. So everybody loves Elliot running. I love Elliot running. The internet fucking loves Elliot running.
He runs Tom Cruise intense, but without any facial expression whatsoever.
Yeah, and he does it forever.
Cardio.
And takes a beating doing it. And he's able to outrun these cops, which good for him.
Sure, the only two cops in New York City.
Yeah, they call in the cavalry eventually.
They eventually do, yeah.
I noticed in the background there was a sign for a reindeer trot 10K, which I thought was pretty funny.
Well, there's
takes off.
There was people, I don't know if they're joke or serious, but they're planning on recreating Elliot's dash, do the Black Hoodie marathon.
Yeah,
a little 5K run through New York City. It's actually pretty. I know that there was a lot of playing they did with the real life locations where it's there was something on 82nd Street that they photoshopped to be 56th Street because, they wanted him to run a long distance but not literally run the length of Manhattan.
Yeah.
But I wonder how doable that is. But yeah, that'd be a nice Christmas Day fun run. If someone I could see that becoming an annual thing. The running of the Elliots.
Yeah.
The running of the hoodies.
Definitely.
What about Darlene for her matter? She just kind of went ballsy. Just I got a wig on. I'm gonna subtract the wig. I'm gonna sip on a bottle of water, and I'm gonna have a sporty sweater on.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Act like she's a gym rat.
It's a good thing the sharp perceptive guard was out talking to the cops because there's no way he forgets her.
Yeah,
Dolores Hayes. If sweater, hair color, or no. She's a pretty distinctive person. Yeah,
I'm a little surprised they let anybody just go without questioning of any kind.
I mean, if you're coming from, I guess I believed it because they did set up the building to be ideal for this hack and that it had this kind of mixed use civilian first floor. But yeah, it seems like if there's a crime committed, a high profile kind of crime committed, that to the extent that they're going to it's going to be reported on the news, that you'd question people. But
I would at least get the names of the people who are leaving so they can follow up later if they have questions.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. She's not even spoken to. Well, she can't be spoken to in this episode. That would require a different episode. The cops stop the bus and pick back up the chase. Darlene goes out and gets this car, with her stolen car, which is hilarious to me that she walks out of the building she is hacking into a stolen car right in front of a whole squad of police. It's so good. She goes and she tracks Elliot on the GPS again, and she ends up picking him up after a brutal fall right over a bridge.
And they hold hands on the gear shift. The old gear shift hand holderoo.
I mean, the whole chase scene feels absolutely ridiculous to me, but in a good way. The kind of I can't believe this is happening, but I'm so into it.
I will say that now that we've recapped it, it feels like we've made half a dozen kind of this doesn't really make sense exceptions shrug. Are they getting away with that because of the stunt nature of the episode?
A little bit, yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of other hacks where it's been this kind of loosey-goosey with everything kind of lining up just so.
And also just the nature of the hack. It's the biggest...
Right.
Probably the biggest hack we've seen on Mr. Robot.
This is supposed to be a death blow to the White Rose.
Yeah, so I'm inclined, like, we're getting so many cool things here that I'm inclined to let a little bit of fudge slide.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't ever think of it the second time I watched it, but just sitting here, I'm like, man, we're doing a lot of apologia for Mr. Robot's hack, their brilliant hack they did in the silent episode. But yeah, I think you're right. It's you can let it slide.
I love this hand-holding scene because I don't think either of them could have pulled this hack off by themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, it takes both of them to get in the building. It takes both of them to keep the guards off them. It takes Elliot kind of doing a sacrificial 10K in order to get the cops off of Darlene.
Even then, he bought her a few seconds more time by cutting the lights in the first place.
Yeah, so this is like a big... this hand-holding moment is sort of a big apology from Elliot, right?
Yeah.
For being the asshole who said, I'm doing all this, you can't do any of it. And it comes from, Tyrell's speech last time, and they've done a really good job of painting a picture where Elliot starts to realize what a dick he's been to his sister and how he actually needs her. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was nice.
Yeah, so Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if this fundamentally changes their relationship or if Darlene will be murdered next episode, depending on how emotionally abusive Sam's feeling about his audience.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be... Boy, if Darlene got taken off the board before like Elliot's able to get to a good place with her, how much can one weirdo hacker take before you just snap?
Maybe not that much. That's a lot.
Fourth personality, here we come.
Yeah.
Between the smack on the head and Darlene's death next episode, then
and Tyrell coming back. It's
just to be clear, this is not a spoiler. I'm talking out my ass. I'm just saying.
All right, we go back to Philip, who gets his dry cleaning, which comes with another location. Wait, no. This is... yes, but it's the meeting.
It's the meeting.
It's not another place for him to go. It's another place for him to go
Bratanto
for the meeting.
At 9 p.m.
Yeah. He texts Elliot and says the meeting's on, with or without Tyrell.
So something that was noticed is when he first gets a text from Elliot, the text contact in his cell phone just says Elliot. When he receives it here, it says Elliot Alderson. So he's got a second phone.
Oh yeah.
Does he know? Is he aware of the multiple personalities? And he's got in
and
his
he
contact.
has some way to detect it.
Yeah, sure. So he set up there's a Google rule you can set up.
Do Elliot's personalities each have their own cell phone? Are they on the family plan?
Yeah, they are. They're in the family plan. It's him, Mr. Robot, his other personality, Darlene, and Angela.
And the
Angela,
guard.
rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Flipper. Flipper's on the fifth one.
Oh yeah.
Is that why am I thinking 5 family plan? Is that that's like a Sprint thing?
Probably. I imagine he's on Verizon. Got the best coverage. I lost my train of thought when you talked about the family plan. All right. Dom walks the family dog.
You know who doesn't have a family plan? Philip Price.
That's probably true. Mm-hmm. He does have unlimited data.
That's what he said. So he's looking so wistfully at that fame. He's like, look at the savings that they're getting on their cell phone plan.
Right.
God, if I could only made it work with really kicking himself there.
Yep. So Dom walks the family dog. She's super paranoid that she's being watched.
That dog is a chonker too. That dog has not missed many fake, fraudulent Christmas cookies.
A lot of scraps.
Getting a lot of gravy in his bowl.
I didn't notice that. She's writing down license plates and then being super paranoid. She returns to her parents' house where she receives another text from Janice telling her she needs to find Elliot and Darlene, who Janice labels as a couple troublemakers.
They sure are. Wasn't for these meddlesome kids, White Rose would have gotten away with it.
Does she know who Elliot and Darlene are?
Surely. Is White Rose that compartmentalized?
I wouldn't think so.
But I guess why wouldn't that? Like, is like literally everyone in the White Rose Army the Dark Army? I guess it's actually got a name. Is everybody in the Dark Army
the trombone player knows who Elliot and Darlene are, but or the waiter. But the people who might need to know,
if she knows, she's not making any. She's not saying anything, and I think Janice is the type to make a snarky thing. It's like it's your girlfriend and and her brother, something like that. So like I don't think Janice knows.
Okay.
And I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a vast worldwide shadowy organization not being a little bit compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm. And then we go over to Krista taking her grocery haul back home where Varga is waiting for her.
Vera.
Varga, yeah,
Okay.
Vera. She drops the groceries and he says it's time they talk. And it's the last line. There's the first line of the episode and there's the last line of the episode.
Yeah, in all the hoopla about Janice and what she knows, this is very exciting. It's the it's the arc of the plot bending Darlene, Elliot, and Dom together. We're going to set the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. We got a trinity going.
This is what I said at the beginning of the season. I hope this happens because they might be the only team that can do damage to White Rose.
Is this we're actually going to see it happen next episode, or is this just Sam saying, I haven't forgotten? Because
You mean, are we going to see them get together, or are we going to see them
like I honestly, I wouldn't expect them to get together any earlier than the last moments of the next episode.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a while for Darlene or for Dom to kind of like put this together and invest. I mean, I don't know what she's going to do too. Like, does she see this as her like way out, or does she see this as like a potential ally, or does she see this as like, or like Darlene and Elliot going to have to beg for their life or try to make, the case for them to work together, or has Dom already kind of worked this out in her head? I'm curious to see, because I could see Dom just being like, fuck this. I don't want to lose my family. I'm going to try to do something to this Irish guy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the timeline here and I'm thinking the meeting is about to happen. They clearly need whatever is going to go down during the meeting. Elliot and Darlene and Dom don't have a lot of time to get together before they have to enact whatever plan Elliot and Darlene have.
Plus, we talked about this a little bit last week, but Tyrell missing from the meeting is going to fuck things up, right?
No. Okay, so there's a line where Philip says, do you really think that they keep the same cell phone for more than 5 days? I bet he's got 5 days after the meeting to finish the hack.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm sorry.
Because I think what needs to happen here, what Elliot's trying to do is get a hold of the cell phone numbers and stuff for all the Deus contacts, for all the people in the Deus group.
Yeah.
And then as long as those cell phone numbers remain active, they can use that for their hack on Cypress National and for their hack on White Rose.
Still.
So I think there might be a longer clock than we think.
Yeah, but like that just, like you said, opens up the like how incompetent are the virtual reality, which is essentially like this is clearly just a front for Dark Army. Like how we know they're not incompetent, so
it's true.
Yeah, they
should find him out, but to what end? I think White Rose would figure out what they're up to.
You think Krista survives this?
If she cooperates, yeah.
Really? You think Varys is going to let her go?
Yeah.
Maybe he uses leverage over Elliot too.
He's definitely going to keep her on the board as long as he needs to get to Elliot. But what does Elliot do? Can Elliot defeat Varga before Krista's killed?
Yeah. Might be a whole another trunk stuffed in a trunk type situation.
Could be. That's the end of the episode. There's a pint of Chunky Monkey. Rolls onto the street.
Speaking of Chunky Monkey, actually, that's not a very smooth transition. We're going to talk about feedback now. Robot@baldmove.com is how you send it in, or you can get on the forums. Forums.baldmove.com to talk with your fellow fans about your latest theory about what the chunky dog means. Does it have to do with the monkey? Ice cream? Is the dog chunky because of Chunky Monkey?
Please write in about something else.
Kelly B. I was listening to the Fresh Air on NPR with Terry Gross interview with Sam Esmail earlier this week. At one point in the podcast, Esmail gets to telling Terry about how when he was a kid, he got teased so much for his name that he actually changed it to Sam as a child and started going by that. Terry Gross, point blank. Is that intentional, Kelly? Because if so, good on you. Terry Gross point blank asked him, what's your real name? And he brushed it off saying he doesn't tell anyone his real name. So maybe there's something that ties into Mr. Robot. Sam Sepiol, Elliot's third personality. What do you think? Sepiol Esmail? Is that his name?
Sepiol Esmail?
I mean, for a guy
that's a terrible name.
For a guy who...
Sepiol Esmail.
For a guy who doesn't want to tell anyone his real name, like that would be pretty ballsy. Yeah.
To use it in the show. Maybe it's Deegan McGuire.
Deegan McGuire?
Yeah, he's actually very Irish.
I don't know. That would be interesting if that because There is I could see this being a little bit of a Gary Stu situation that, like, you know, Sam is kind of writing Elliot from somewhat at least his own point of view, and he's already put himself into the narrative, like literally. Maybe we'll see, Kelly. Sherry, regarding why Dark Army's operatives aren't uploading the logs automatically instantaneously to the cloud. Is it not unthinkable that in order to hide and prevent interference of the transmission, that the upload or transmission would be intermittent? It would also be less conspicuous traffic and harder to determine which is the transmission to block. It also could be due to changing encryption keys on each intermittent transmission. I mean, it's entirely possible, maybe even plausible, Sherry. It's just like what we're doing is engaging in fan fiction to explain the plot. And I mean, there's some things you got to roll with. Like, they never show characters taking a shit in anything. But you always know that they're like human beings that have to use the bathroom. So you can kind of deduct that. But
Austin Powers is the only one to get that right.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold shit.
Plus, it's the world's longest evacuation after you get out of the freezing process. Like, it's they definitely answered a question about whether Austin Powers shits and pisses. But I don't know. I guess I prefer on something like this that is kind of like a head scratcher, and it isn't like common knowledge. That they were explicit about like why this worked. I think that they thought that they lampshaded it enough by just having Tyrell being like, "Hey, check to make sure this thing that would probably happen is not happening." But
I think it'd be ironic if they were not transmitting in order to avoid Elliot detecting their transmission, and then that enables Elliot to, you know, capture the data.
You know, I do wonder sometimes, because we know a lot of the hacks that they've done in seasons before have been essentially real high profile hacks that they've filed the serial numbers off and just repurposed in their plot. I wonder if they're out of those now, which is why these feel a little bit more nebulous.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way this is based on any kind of real life hack. Or at least I didn't see any in the research I did. So maybe they're being a little bit more inventive. Nicole K, rather. I wanted to comment on what I felt was a lack of promotion for this season of Mr. Robot. I just got caught up in the last week because I didn't realize it had started up again. I only found out because I noticed your podcast had new episodes, and I was like, holy shit, it's back! Wondering if this could explain the drop-off in viewers. Anyway, loving this season. Really enjoying the recap with you guys. I don't know. I will say that from USA's perspective, they're already getting the attention of the Emmys. And it's the final season, so there's very little incentive for them to promote the shit out of it because the ad buys are going to be what the ad buys are. It's not like, you know. So I don't know what incentive they have to, like, spend a lot of money over something that's clearly a losing. Like, this is a loss leader for them. This is the grocery store selling toilet paper for 50 cents, so you go and buy 12 packs of Coke and they make the money on you that way. This is USA literally buying clout with a Emmy award-winning and nominated series. So it's hard to square that. And also, like, I very rarely watch commercials nowadays. Like, ever since I've kind of given up football, that was almost the only live television I was watching. So, like, almost everything, not much in TV catches me by surprise, or movies, because it's kind of our job to keep up on that. But yeah, like finding out about new series and shit, I usually find out about that stuff when, like, it hits my Netflix front page or whatnot. So,
or people in the forums talk about a trailer that came out or something.
Yeah, people usually are pretty good about letting us know something's coming up because it's like, are you going to cover it?
Yeah.
But a good theory. Brent from San Diego, nice Halloween week touch for the Easter egg of Murnau's Dry Cleaning. Director of maybe the greatest Dracula adaptation, F.W. Murnau, and he's referring to Nosferatu here.
Whoa.
Okay. So yeah, you could probably get some points on Reddit on that one. Some real internet points you can cash in on the Karma Bank, because I haven't seen that anywhere. The Tim Burton Christmas Halloween adaptation continues. Seb has a couple of observations for us. I love the baby buggy full of cans speed reference when Elliot knocks it over as he's trying to escape the cops. I didn't even catch that. That was pretty good. Nice of them to be playing a Josh Groban song at the ice rink, as Elliot is his biggest fan, as we learned last season. So I'm not fully familiar with all the Josh Groban Easter eggs, but what I understand is that Angela's ex-boyfriend was a big Josh Groban fan. So that was kind of
the douchey one from Allstate.
Yeah, and that was I commented on. And then in season 2, when they're broke up, Elliot goes to call on her, and she's wearing one of his shirts. That it's a Josh Groban shirt. And I think he did Josh Groban album is one of his fake albums that he burns when he's done with a hack. And then now we've got Josh Groban showing up in the ice rink scene. So the quadrilogy is complete. Love the energy the episode injected into the season. The orange staircase shot was amazing. Felt like a good follow-up to the previous heist episodes. Very weird to have zero Christian Slater, though. He is in 3 seconds of this episode.
Yeah, the very beginning.
Where they're burning the van. But that is odd. Hopefully Dom's scene near the end means we're finally going to get that team up that you two have talked about with her and the little what little of F Society remains.
Hope so.
From your mouth to Sam Esmail's ears. Also, have you two ever seen the episode descriptions that are on Amazon?
Yes.
I really hate whoever writes them with a passion. I love them. I think it's funny.
It is, and you don't want spoilers in your descriptions anyway, so what they do is real good.
Like this week, so this week's was, and it's all written in internet leak speak. There's no capitalization, very little proper punctuation, but it's no xmas lolz for Dom. Darelliot, which I like that. Darelliot gives a runaround. Krista plays hookie. Quiet please, the show is on. I think they're great. I think they're fun. They're not as the greatest episode descriptions of all time are on Mad Men.
Because they're so completely vague.
Yeah.
You hardly even know who's in the episode.
It'd be like, Don pours a drink. Peggy opens a briefcase. It's shit like that. And the next time ons were even better.
Yeah.
But this is giving him a run for the money. Rick and Morty's got some fun episode descriptions too. They're all super bro-y college, yo dog, Rick's really, really fucking pooches it in this one, or
I like watch on Blu-ray, so I haven't seen those. I'll check them out.
I like when they have a little fun. As someone that writes show descriptions professionally, I like when I see other people having fun with them. Ryan C. One quick theory I wanted to send to you, found via Reddit, via user Bastardless Sword. So the theory is that season 1 and 4 are very similar structurally. Do you want to kind of go over this theory? Are you familiar with it at all?
Yeah, I took a couple of glances at the similarities.
Okay, so peep this. They're saying, and this makes sense because this season was kind of pitched as an undo, like a reset. So it following the same track as the original 5-9 hack is kind of cool.
And their motifs, hello friend and goodbye friend, they're bookending this thing.
Episode 1 similarities. In season 1, Elliot's owned by Tyrell. He's quote-unquote captured, and it seems like things are going bad, but Tyrell ends up offering him a job at E-Corp. In season 4, Elliot is owned by Price. He's captured, and it seems that he's going to die, but he's saved at the last moment because Price wants to offer him an alliance. Season 1 also starts with Hello Friend, said by Elliot, and Season 4 episode 1 ends with Goodbye Friend, said by Sam Esmail himself. In both episodes, Elliot hacks a pedo and destroys his life. Also interesting how in both instances, Elliot interacts with the victim in person. All right, I buy it. Episode 2 similarities. Both episodes start with Elliot interacting with Tyrell and Price, respectively. In season 1, Elliot talks about his father and how he died. In season 4, Elliot has to deal with his mother's death. Also, first mention of Vera in both seasons. Episode 3. Episode 3 similarities. In season 1, Elliot builds up a relationship with Shayla, and they go out on a date. In season 4, Elliot meets Olivia, and they go out on a date. Season 1 intro is about Tyrell's desire to become CEO, and the Season 4 intro is about the past and motivations of White Rose. In Season 1, Tyrell doesn't get the CTO position of E-Corp and goes mad because of it. In Season 4, Tyrell gets the CEO position and doesn't seem to care. On both episodes, Darlene and Tyrell broke into Elliot's apartment, respectively. I think these are the only 2 instances where someone broke into his apartment.
It's also the episode where White Rose finds out that he goes crazy because he is going to be CEO.
Is that true?
No, well, knows that Philip won't be. I think that's the same episode. I don't know.
Episode 4 similarities. This is the weird episode in both seasons. In season 1, Elliot has to deal with quitting morphine, and he dreams all that weird dream shit. In season 4, well, the episode is weird. You just have to admit it. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
Episode 5 similarities. In season 1, this episode is the one where Elliot infiltrates Steel Mountain. In season 4, Elliot and Darlene infiltrate Virtual Realty. In season 1, Vera calls Elliot at the end of the episode and tells him that he knows Elliot is the one who gave him the anonymous tip. In season 4, Vera appears at the end of the episode and speaks to Krista. Both episodes set up Vera's importance in the next episode. Now that we know that there is a pattern being followed, or at least to the extent that the 12 Days of Christmas is being followed, this bastardless sword looks ahead at the weeks to come. In episode 6 of season 1, he predicts that the episodes are going to be Vera focused. In season 1, Vera kidnapped Shayla and forced Elliot to release him from prison. It seems that the episode in season 4 will be about Vera kidnapping Krista and forcing Elliot to do something for him. Also, Price may receive bad news from White Rose. Seems likely, since he set up this meeting to hand off and then his boy's not going to show up. Yeah. Season 7 or episode 7 theories. This episode mainly is focused on characters other than Elliot. Elliot has to deal with someone's death, perhaps Angela, Tyrell, Krista, or all of them. We may see glimpses of Elliot's third personality, represented by violent behavior, based on the scene where Mr. Robot threatens Romero. If Price and Tyrell are linked, we may see Price murder someone, maybe White Rose's assistant, based on the scene where Tyrell kills his boss's wife. If Krista's still alive, we may see her as a more loyal character towards Elliot in the ending of the episode. Episode 8, Elliot meets White Rose, so that might be a big meeting. Some parts of the big plot twist starts to be revealed. Perhaps he speculates on Tyrell's faith, based on the scene where Elliot finds out that Darlene is his sister.
See, here's where they start to reveal some of White Rose's plan.
Yeah, and here's where it gets sketchier and sketchier the longer you get, because how the hell, this. I think this is going to be better predictive looking backwards than forwards, but there's still some. Plus, we only had up to episode 10, so the final 3 are they're wild cards. Episode 9, big plot twists finally get revealed. From now on, the show won't have any more secrets, only the expectations of a big ending. The episode ends with either Tyrell or Price, or maybe even White Rose herself on Elliot's side right before the big hack miracle. Episode 10 theories. In season 1, there's a 3-day gap. Elliot loses any memory of what happened. One possibility is we may see what happened those 3 days, and episode 10 will be split into 3 to 4 episodes. Ooh. I like going back and finding out what happened in those missing 3 days.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that.
That would be fucking cool.
And it's something they've conspicuously not been showing us.
Yeah. This is the episode where the executive of E-Corp shoots himself in the head. Maybe we'll see something important in E-Corp do the same thing. In season, he predicts also we'll see Trump shoot himself. That Trump's not even president in this timeline. In season 1, Elliot decides to surrender, maybe because he thinks he's failed and he goes to prison voluntarily. In season 4, maybe this will be his inflection point where Elliot will choose to keep fighting instead. In season 1, at the end of the episode, White Rose and Price are at a party with the elite. Maybe we'll finally see the Deus group united in this episode. And then episode 11 through 13, who knows? But interesting stuff. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
5 more episodes is a long time to wait for a Deus meeting that's supposed to happen today.
True. Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, but who knows? This is all speculation.
I just watched a series, American Horror Story, that one single night lasted 5 episodes.
Yeah?
You can do some crazy thing in time dilation when you're making television. But yeah, thanks for sending it in, Ryan. That's interesting. Chad E. I know I might be the minority here since Reddit's going crazy over the no dialogue episode, but I didn't enjoy it that much. It seems very gimmicky or trying to be too clever. A few other shows I can think of have done this before, such as BoJack Horseman's season 3, episode 4, Fish Out of Water. And once you've seen it done, it's not as impactful when someone else does it. Is that true? I mean, because I think that I'll never get sick of seeing really good oneers.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, before Esmail did this whole episode as a oneer, I don't know that it had been done. Like, yeah, scenes had been done. Like, they shot this entire 10-minute, 15-minute scene as a oneer. Or, I guess...
ER did a live episode.
Wasn't there, like, the fucking Birdman movie or whatever?
Yeah.
That did basically the whole movie as a oneer?
I think so.
But with a lot of, fancy tricks.
Yeah, it wasn't literally a oneer, but...
Yeah, and then It's Always Sunny did one. Yeah, maybe it's not as original as I thought, but...
But it's still... and I saw a trailer for a German film that's like 2 hours long, and it is literally a one shot. Like there's no breaks at all. It's like a low budget indie kind of film. So I don't know. It's a way for a director and a showrunner to flex.
Yeah, and if you can do interesting things during that one, because like it's easy to do a one-er. You just point a camera at somebody and have them give a monologue for 2 hours.
Right, but when they do it, especially in like some kind of action-based scene, it just really amps up the tension. Like you don't even notice it, just how relentless the pacing is, because there's just no cuts and everything is, you're locked into the action. But I can see your point there, Chad. He felt like there was too many scenes where it felt unnatural for someone not to say something. It felt like it was relying on text messaging for some communication.
I'm okay with that.
It was also a bit of a cheat.
Yeah, I'm fine with the text messaging because people do it all the fucking time.
Sure.
It's just, that's part of our everyday life. But like, I'm with you. There were moments where I go, they should definitely be talking in this scene. And they're only not talking because this is the no talking episode.
But even that said, Chad gives him props for it being a fun episode with a phenomenal chase sequence, and also he likes the 2 lines of dialogue they bookended the episode with, which, it's cute and clever the way they did that.
Yeah.
James, when you see Mr. Robot Team make an episode like 405 where it begins with "It's cool, we don't have to talk," and there's basically no spoken dialogue until Vera ends it with "We have to talk," how does that make you feel about the rest of the season? Does it make you more confident that it will pay off in an interesting, organic way because making the show, the people making the show are so skilled, or does it make you less confident the show will pay off in a satisfying way because they seem like they are focused on the art of the episodes rather than the story itself?
Yeah, I think they've done both in this series.
I mean, like, I think season 2, the balance is way over to artsy and, self-satisfaction and away from storytelling. But that's the only season that I can think really having that impression of.
Yeah, I think they do both really well. Granted, I don't like when they lean too far in the artsy direction. But
and it's fine. Like, make it as arty as fuck. But it's got to serve the story. It can't be distracting.
Yeah, and this was both. They had something they needed to do, something where they pretty much needed to remain silent and stealthy the entire time. I'm fine with the way they handled this, and it does not give me less confidence that they can resolve the plot satisfactorily.
Shaka B says, overarching serious question for you. As we get closer to the end, do you find it less and less likely there will be some crazy, mind-blowing parallel universe or time travel reveal? I feel like I've been promised something in between the lines. If there's the whole Back to the Future tease and it's just a tease, should we be demanding our Bitcoins back? I mean, I still think there's room for there to be some kind of science fiction-y stuff here. I know Sam Esmail has kind of disavowed that, but that's what you'd have to do if you're a showrunner and you're trying to protect the ending of the show. But I also, if he does what he wants to do and he pulls off, because he's also promised that there's some kind of, like, in brewing since the beginning, mind-blowing plot reveal that will instantly make sense in retrospect but has been completely hidden in Submarine until now. I think if you pull that off, you don't need a DeLorean. But if that fizzles, you might need a DeLorean. And if there's no DeLorean that comes that comes roaring up, I could see some people being disappointed.
I mean, for me, it's all about, I need someone to believe that there is a DeLorean, whether or not there is one. That person has to be White Rose. Like, if I think something in White Rose's plan has to be fucking epic. Whether it works, whether it doesn't matter. Whether it's real or fake, whether she is delusional or on to something huge, it has to be huge. That's the only way they're not going to satisfy me, is if they don't have White Rose believing something big.
I can get behind that. Matt K with the final feedback of the week. Last week's episode 404 wasn't quite my cup of tea, but 405 absolutely was what I was looking for. Do you think that Vera is simply this season as a wild card to be used when Elliot's presumably at the end of his rope later on? It seems like Elliot's on the path to succeed, but obviously White Rose will have roadblocks along the way, and Vera seems like a tool for the writers as an unexpected trump card against White Rose, even though he's built up to be another antagonist. I think this is a bingo right here. It's the one bit of chaos that White Rose can't account for. This guy that just, like, comes boomeranging in from earlier seasons, and maybe he just whacks 2 Dark Army soldiers, or they get in a gun battle and lets Elliot get away. That might be the edge he needs.
Yeah.
And it's not something... Also, there's something significant about his third personality hearing this information and keeping it to himself, too, I think. that will probably plug into the plot. But yeah, I think you're on the right track. You feel the same there, Jim? Or
Yeah, I mean, they reintroduced him for a reason, and I don't think it's just to fill time.
well, they need to have 5 more episodes, or wait, they got 13 episodes instead of 10. One thing I haven't heard you mention is this season's supposed to be 13 episodes. There's still a surprising long way to go, and they can end the series on the 22nd of December with a double episode, or the 29th for a New Year's Eve episode. Was it this or The Mandalorian that we found out was actually going to take the week of Christmas off? Is it Mandalorian? I remember we were looking in, because that's something, honestly, we're worried about. Like, I don't want to come in on Christmas Day and record a Mr. Robot podcast. I hope you guys understand that. I think that would be really a bummer for me. I don't want to be Elliot running through downtown Cincinnati trying to get an MP3 encoded and uploaded to the virtual realty servers before Santa Claus comes down the chimney, you know?
Yeah. The way I understand it, there are only 12 episodes this season.
Really? I heard 13 too.
And the final one is going to air on the 22nd of December. But I could
still
be wrong
makes
about
us
that.
have a podcast due on Christmas Day out.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out and see, because we will probably delay the release of the podcast in that case. If it's because statistically, there's not a lot of people listening to podcasts on Christmas Day. I know they exist. Maybe some people just that they need podcasts to get through Christmas Day, but highly unlikely that we'll be producing one on that or Christmas Eve. And there's no way I'm going to do a finale episode in less than 24-hour turnaround. So we'll see. Well, there might be some like digital coal in people's digital stockings.
How about the day before Thanksgiving?
Day before Thanksgiving?
Doing one then?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Thanksgiving's a 4-day weekend, man. Like, we're going to turn it into a 5-day weekend?
No, I'm with you.
Okay. So, yeah, we won't puss out on Thanksgiving, but Christmas, probably. All right. Somehow, I thought, I was telling Jim before we sat down, this is going to be like the world's first 30-minute podcast on an hour-long drama, and we still went an hour and 20 plus on it. How? We talked an infinite amount time longer than the episode itself did.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can't keep getting away with this, Jim.
I think we can.
Someone stop us. Robot@baldmove.com. You can also get on the forums to express your concern with our mental health at forums.baldmove.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will see you back for next week's episode, 406, HTTP error number 406. It's
not accepted.
Yeah.
Or something. I've got it right here. Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. We'll see you then. Until then, I'm a.Ron.
I'm Jim.
Later.